Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Mattxtian Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 3, which, has been rumored to be in development because of the success that was No Way Home and the fact that people had really good audience reception towards Andrew Garfield's rendition of the character. And now, here, this is from Reddit. Um, Essentially, this is just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. But there's like a lot of leaks and information about the possible sequel to the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. And let me just get started. So essentially, Sony hasn't really announced it yet, but they are secretly making the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Supposedly, the script is already being written, and Sony wants to keep it a surprise. Um, yeah. So the person who made this post is actually a screenwriter herself or himself, and they have lots of information regarding this. So the script, they have a few details, but not all. It's not really said how they got the information, but yeah, let's just get it right into it. So it's directly after No Way Home with flashbacks. So as you guys know, at the end of No Way Home, pretty much nothing really changed in their respective universe. It's more centered towards Tom Holland's kind of world, with like all of the story beats that happen are in Tom's and the main MCU timeline. So if we're gonna be talking about Toby's franchise and Andrew's franchise are pretty much not like untouched. So yeah, Spider so Spider Gwen is not in the film. I don't know why people are saying that Spider Gwen is going to be in the film. It kind of doesn't really make sense for them to be introducing that character this early on, especially since they have another rendition of the character in the Into the Spider Verse franchise. So that's I guess that's a given. So Peter only mentions multiverse. It is not a multiverse film. It's set in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, which, you know, one of my favorite aspects of the Amazing Spider-Man franchise is the fact that they try their best to make it grounded. And yeah, so that I guess that just adds to that realism that the multiverse is real, but we're not gonna be really introducing it in this franchise just yet. So the release is after Venom 3, so after like around 2024 to 2025, which is actually around the same time as the release of the Secret Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. No firm date. Same suit as the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is, a lot of people really like that suit, so that's cool. Peter won't wear the symbiote. Okay, so that's kind of a I guess that's okay. I mean, it's not really imperative for him to have the symbiote, especially since they have already done that. Black Cat is one of the characters and is the new love interest for Peter. Okay, so I guess that that makes sense because it was kind of set up in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Um, I'm I'm thinking that they're gonna be using the same actress. Um, I forgot what her name was, but she's like the lead in Rogue One. Villains are Venom and Spider Slayers. Okay, so this is like a Venom movie, like Venom centric movie. I don't know if it's gonna be Tom Hardy. It's probably gonna be Tom Hardy. Like it's the only thing that makes sense. Um, and people are saying that it's actually in the same universe because Venom takes place in San Francisco. The events of Amazing Spider-Man take place in New York, so I guess that makes sense. It would make sense. So yeah. Harry Osborn died in this universe by a rageful Spider-Man. Okay, so I guess that kind of ties back into the essentially the deleted scene where Peter was really beating up Harry Osborn to the point where he was the one who knocked him out, not the metal bars like in the actual cut of the movie, which I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty dark. It kind of ties into when Peter said, I got rageful, I got bitter, and at some point I stopped pulling my punches. I think that's a pretty cool kind of continuity thing. It's a darker film with it's a darker film with lots of remorse and sadness. Okay, which makes sense because out of all of them, no, actually, out of all of them at this point, Tom Holland's the one who kind of went through the most suffering. But prior to that, it's actually him because literally both. Like he's the only Spider-Man. No, no, no. Right now, yeah, he's the only Spider-Man who really lost his love interest. Like whose love interest really died. Like Toby's, he even mentions that he's kind of still seeing like MJ. So I guess everything's good. But and Tom Holland, I mean Tom Holland Spider-Man, MJ is still there. Like she's still alive, and people are saying that she actually does remember him. But that's a different topic for a different day. Lizard is mentioned. Um, okay, so I mean, that's not really a surprise. Jamie Foxx has a cameo as Electro in the film. Um, that would be pretty nice. But in this universe, because if you think about it, they were all taken from different points in time. So Jamie Foxx's Electro, it's gonna be very confusing for people who don't understand the multiverse, the like time travel in the MCU. So they were taking it out of a specific point in time, and when you're taking out of a specific point in time, that causes a branch from the main timeline, um, and that branch is gonna be separate. So the timelines that split from when they got Electro and when they got um Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, those cause different branches in time. So the irrespective coexistence of each other doesn't um is not the same. It's not the same. So essentially, we have um we have Electro, who's reverted back to his former self, going back to that timeline, and that it doesn't change who that the like it doesn't change what happens to that Peter Parker. So I guess they end up becoming friends or something. Like I'm not sure if I'm explaining this right, but basically, the Electro in Andrew's universe and the Spider-Man in Electro's universe after No Way Home are different because they're in different branches. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Other Sinister Six villains hinted at in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 credits are all in jail, from Spider-Man, Doc Ock, Mysterio, Craven, Rhino, and Vulture. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's kind of fast tracks everything. So we just like at the end the post credit scene, we see all of them being teased, like you know, like the certain aspects of them in that post credit scene, and now we're just literally seeing them in, you know, um, in Ravencroft. So I think that's gonna be pretty weird for some people who haven't watched the Amazing Spider-Man. Even people who watch the Amazing Spider-Man, like for me, like I think that's gonna be pretty weird. So yeah, Tom Hardy is playing Venom. Yeah, I already called it. I mean, everybody kind of knows that. It would be a missed opportunity if they were just to just cast another one, and not to mention waste. So yeah, this is one of three films in which Andrew will return. It will lead into Secret Wars. Also, another thing I was thinking, that would be pretty cool. Um, and I think everybody knew that after the release of No Way Home, essentially Andrew Garfield's definitely gonna be making a return. Toby as well. I would say Toby. Toby's also gonna return, but everybody loved Andrew's like Andrew's like portrayal in this movie. Like people are saying they redeemed him, but I was literally just watching the Amazing Spider-Man 1 yesterday, and I'm like, dude, like this guy is like a perfect balance of like no, let's be real though. The nerds at that time of that movie, when that movie was released, like around 2012, that's what nerds were kind of like outcasts. So he was only kind of a victim of he like not a victim. He's like a product of his time. It's like you watch the 90s movies, a 90s movie, everyone's like all like, like a bad boy or edgy. That's kind of, but they portrayed him differently, and that's what people didn't like. And I see like issues that they have. I see issues that you could have with that movie, with Amazing Spider-Man. But essentially it's more like we should be basing it off of like the acting chops, and also his dedication to the character. Like he loves the character. If you literally watch like his